exactly what's going on in Liberia. But we as Liberians continue to ignore the facts. And we continue to ignore when our brothers and sisters on the land are dying out of hunger each and every day. My fellow Liberians, I'm here tonight to let you know that we can no longer ignore the fact that leaders continue to transition from century to century. And the country continue to be underdeveloped only because leaders want all the resources for themselves. So when they come, they preach politics and they lie to our people. They continue to lead this small nation that is so rich. Like someone said, the wealth that in Liberia, if it is used wisely, no one going to work in Liberia could. But why are we continue as a nation to be destitute on the face of Africa? We must wake up, my fellow Liberians, we must wake up. We must wake up from our sleep. It's time that we stand up for the poor. It's time that we stand up for the struggling people in Liberia. It's no longer we can hide the truth. We understand in time like these, critical voices being chased after. We got it. But we are not going to relent. And that's why the young generation is rising up. We're going to stand up to truth. We're going to tell leaders that our people must be served. And they must be served right. Look at our boys and girls. In the morning, they got to wake up in the morning to go and sell to make ends meet. That's not how the country should be. The country that I know in Liberia, the country that I know, the country that I was born and raised from, why our boys and girls, you go on the street selling between cars, they are vulnerable to bad things. We can no longer sit any longer. We must take action, Liberians. It is not a time to sit and watch the country of our origin perish. We must show the leaders that there are other Liberians that are going to stand up for justice, no matter what situation is. We got to stand up, my fellow Liberians. It is not time to hide ourselves. We must not allow international world to dictate to us. It's about time across the nation of Liberia, boys and girls, mothers and fathers, the young and the old, we must rise up in Liberia. The young generation want to know where is the country's resources. We must open our eyes and we must speak our minds. It is no longer that we sit. Leaders come and give an agenda of false pretense. And that's why the young generation is standing up. We're going to stand up. We're going to hold government accountable for every resource that is spent in the country. It is our right. We as young generation, we no longer going to sit and watch leaders continue to kill our future. We, the young generation, we must stand up and we must rise up in Liberia and tell leaders that we are ready. And that's why we are rising up as young generation. And as a political leader for the young generation, we want to fight. We want to make sure to tell government in Liberia that you cannot continue to oppress and suppress our people, taking their future away. Look at our young boys and our young girls in the street. They have to ride bikes. They have to go in the morning, wake up in the morning, ride bikes before they eat. My fellow Liberians, I was in Liberia August of 2019. It is not time for us to close our eyes on this. It's time that we join the advocates to fight for our freedom. I want to let you know that the love of liberty brought us here. We must fight for that love. It is not time to allow people to come and bring division among ourselves. The young generation is rising up in Liberia. We are concerned. We want to know where our resources are being used. It is our right to understand how our resources of the country are being used in Liberia. And we are going to rise up. We are going to stand up. We are going to stand up leaders. As young generation, we feel very insecure. Because leaders, they are not the role model for us. And that's why we are rising up. But in it all, I pass by to let you know, my fellow Liberians, do not lose hope. Do not lose hope. It is a test of time. When things going bad, sometimes God have a plan for us. But one thing we shouldn't do, we should not allow anyone to dictate to us as Liberians. We are people of integrity and we are people of value. We can no longer sit and watch our children struggling to go to school when education should be free in Liberia from kindergarten to 12th grade. We must push for that. I strongly believe, as a political leader for the young generation, that education should be free for all children, for all child in the country should go to school free from kindergarten to 12th grade. Yes, indeed, we have the resources. But because few hand people continue to sit over the resource and exploit the society, so as a result, our mothers and our fathers continue to struggle on the land of Liberia to send their children to school. Have you ever visited that woman in the village to see what she goes through with the 4 children she have? Have you ever taken a time to go to Basel County in that village to visit that woman who have no food to eat? But she wake up in the morning, she see the sun shine, the sun set. There is no food for her to eat. Because leaders fail to deliver what belongs to the people of the land. We must speak the truth. It is important that we speak the truth to leaders. Injustice to our struggling people of Liberia. We don't come and sit here because we want to sit here, but because God bless some of us to travel to a different nation to enhance our life, for us to advocate for our brothers and sisters of the land. Liberians, I know you feel very comfortable where you are. I know you feel very comfortable that you eat 2 times, 3 times a day. But do you understand that your brother and sister don't have food to eat in Liberia? Have you asked yourself why did I come to this world of America? Have you asked yourself why did God bring me to England? Have you asked yourself why God gave me the blessing to travel to a different world? Our brothers and sisters continue to suffer in the land of Liberia. When incompetent leaders occupy positions that they cannot implement well, as a result, the economy continue to go down the drain. My fellow Liberians, we must stand for our right. We must speak out. It is injustice to our people. We demand the answers from leaders in Liberia. We also want to pass by to educate leaders on our people's rights. If by any chance our people choose to go to have a peaceful assembly to protest, we strongly believe, according to the Constitution, it's the people's rights to stand up to ask government to deliver to them. We are going to monitor this very closely. As a young generation, we rising because we want to make sure that we hold leaders accountable for what they said they was going to do in the land of Liberia. And that's why we are rising up. We must understand that it is not time to sit and watch the football game. We cannot be a spectator in our own country. How dare you? We are Liberians. We are people of integrity. And we cannot sit in part of the world to look at leaders continue to bring injustice into the country. We must speak out. We must speak out, Liberians, or else hold your peace. Don't forget, no matter where you live in this world, someday you will want to retire and you will feel homesick and you want to go back home and reside in your country and enjoy your sweet land of liberty. But how can you enjoy your sweet land of liberty when you continue to watch your country go down the drain and you cannot say something to watch your country? We must fight. It is time for us to fight, Liberians. Do not be afraid. God bless you for a reason. Do not be afraid. We must show leaders that we need justice to come in the country. Oh, as a political leader for the young generation, I'm telling you, we're going to hold government accountable. We're going to ask them, how do you spend our resources in the country? When our children cannot even barely go to school. When the educational system is so poor in Liberia. When our mothers and fathers cannot afford money to send their children to school. And yeah, we continue to build houses in Liberia. We continue to build mansions in Liberia. We continue to buy private jet in Liberia. How dare you? Liberians are not stupid. We know exactly what's going on. And we're going to speak against corruption. We're going to speak against injustice in the country. We're going to speak to leader to do the right thing. It is our right as the people. The young generation want the whole leader accountable. You continue to exploit the land of our origin. We can no longer sit and watch you destroy the country. We must react. My fellow Liberians, I don't know who you are, but I know who I am. I am the country. I'm from the country that have natural resources. I can report here tonight that I am from a country that is so rich. But because we Liberians are so cruel to one another, we are so hateful to one another, so we continue to explore the country. And that's why the young generation is going to stand up to leadership. We have the right to ask you how you're spending the resources of the country, when it should be equally distributed across the nation of Liberia. We can no longer sit and watch, like you said in your speech, and I quote, Liberians not going to be spectators in their own country. But today, I see Liberians sit and watch the football game goes on. And they have no right to speak for their rights in Liberia. Because they are afraid that leader is going to send someone after them. But I can tell you, it was mentioned that Jefferson Koji continue to send people against our people. But I can let you know tonight that it is an injustice to violate our people's rights in Liberia. Until Liberia comes to emancipation, we cannot stop advocating for the country. Liberia lay on our hearts. And that's why we are standing up. I turn my back on bad leaders. I turn my back on bad governance. I turn my back on corruption. I am not satisfied how my people been led in Liberia. Day and night I cannot sleep because my mothers and my fathers can no longer sleep. They got to sleep being hungry in the country. And we continue to pretend like we're doing something tangible in the country. Even though we have worshipers that continue to say amen to you. But not everyone going to say amen to you. Not me. I am not going to say amen to you. When my people are suffering in the villages, cannot even barely find food to eat. We know what's going on in the country. And we try to collab. We try to take collab with the international community to deprive our people of their rights. It is injustice. And we must call it out. It is injustice. And we must call it out. Our people elected us in a various officers' capacity to serve them and not to steal from them. We will continue to speak for the masses. When they have no voice to speak, we are here to speak for them. Oh, I want to say, come after us. It's only one life that you got to take. But somebody will remember the history that we stood for our people. Look at our children. They got to ride wheelbarrows. Look at our children. They have to go in the street to sell at 9 years old, 10 years old in the street. Vulnerable. Who we are. My fellow Liberians, I challenge you tonight. Who are you? If you're going to sit and allow your country to continue to be downgraded by the international community, who are you? Are you speaking up for your brothers and sisters, for the injustice that is done to them on the land of Liberia? Are you speaking out when our girls being raped in the country and no one can say anything, when international community cannot even step in to say something? but only because there is protest and we see them try to bring intervention in the country to tell us what we should do. Who are you as a Liberian? Who are you? I challenge any international community to ask me why I am advocating for my country. Because I love my brothers and sisters, and I must speak for them tonight. It is time, my fellow Liberians, that we open our eyes. After 14 years of long war, you know what it means to go through 14 years of war? When we had division in the country, where I remember being in a country running away from refugee or refuge. And I would hear saying, and I quote, signify. All the Mandingo people go one side, all the Gil people can go one side. You know what it means? Our children were traumatized. People that call themselves educated people, they came from all over the world. They went to school to learn. I strongly believe learning and education is making an impact in a society. But it is the other way around. Our leaders went away. They learned all the education. They came back in the country. 1989, recruiting our children as child soldiers to fight war into the country. War that was very senseless. They have no heel, they have no tail. But it led to destruction of lives and properties. It led to destruction of 250,000 people died. Why can we learn as Liberians? It came after the Ebola crisis. People lose life. 11,000 plus. Out of the 250,000. Do you know how many lives we lose already? We don't want to go to war. We do not want to go back to war. But equally so, we must speak to leaders to treat our people right. We are against the injustice. As the political leader for the young generation, we are not going to relent. Nobody can stop us from our rights. We must speak, and we must speak the truth. Nothing but the truth. Leaders must put their act together. We continue to hire our brothers, our sisters, our nephews in the government and using public funds to fund ourselves. It is injustice to the country. We continue to steal money from Liberia and invest all the money, continue to invest for ourselves. That is not a fund for you to invest for yourself. That fund is classified as public funds, and it must be used for the people of Liberia. We must speak out for the truth. Liberia is going through a struggle because Liberians are very cruel to themselves. They steal from themselves. They continue to rip the country off. And they wonder why the economy is going down. And no one can speak the truth. But I'm here to tell you that Mr. No Hand, going to speak the truth. Nothing but the truth. We must stop the injustice in the country of Liberia. We must stop the suppression in the country of Liberia. We must stop the oppression in the country of Liberia. I don't care who you are. If you are a leader, you are there to lead the people, not to lead yourself and trying to get rich out of the poor people. And our people continue to suffer. No food in the country. Many complain day and night. Sometimes they can't even eat food sometimes to go to bed. Yes. I know there's not a lot of people watching this broadcast because no one wants to hear the truth. And I respect that. But it's about time that we Liberians wake up. We got to wake up from our nightmare and know that something is going on in the country. We got to fight for our freedom. Our people must be free in the land of Liberia. It's not time to sit and continue to watch the show goes on. Let our voices be marked down into history. Again, I want to say thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. But my fellow Liberians, we must fight for our brothers and sisters. It is time that we fight for our brothers and sisters. Our children have no good structural educational system in the country. Our children continue to suffer. Sometimes there is no food. They have to go on the street to sell from morning to evening just to make ends meet. I am speaking about 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. They're not supposed to be on the street selling. But it's because we leaders, we are so irresponsible to do to perform our duty. As a result, our children continue to suffer on the land. When our children should be in school, going to learn education, I will defend the economy tomorrow. Leaders forgot, and they continue to fight for power struggle, forming alliance, forming different political parties to come to become the president of Liberia. I am going to be an obstacle because I'm going to ask you, what have you done for the country? What is your asset? What makes you competent to run for the country? As a leader, as a political leader, these are the questions I'm going to challenge you with. Because we are going to go to village, from county to county, to educate our young leaders how to vote. Because we believe that we have made a lot of errors for century to century. We continue to make errors in the country. And we continue to allow so-called politicians to preach to us, to lie to us. They take our situation and take advantage of us. And they will tell us, I quote, go vote for me, I will give you a few bags of rice, knowing full well that our people live in abject poverty. So they take advantage of our people. And they continue to misuse our people. So they tell our people, go vote and bring the voting card. I'm going to give you $100 US. And our people, being not too educated, they go for it. But you have an obstacle in your life. Because I'm going to defend the rights of the young generation. Because I strongly believe that we are now focused on our duties. We are leaving our young people, the young people that are supposed to take over the nation tomorrow, the one that's supposed to be educated by us. We have forgotten. We turn our back, try to enrich ourselves and our family, taking all the resources for ourselves. And that is called corruption. And it is injustice to our people. And that's why we're going to defend in the country. My fellow Liberians, it is not the time for us to sit. We must act. We must act now. We cannot let anyone to come from outside to continue to dictate to us. We are intellectuals. We know how to conceptualize a concept. We cannot allow people to come from the outside to continue to mislead us in our country. That's the essence of having your independence. Liberia came a long way. We have struggled. It's our time that we try to do things for our country. We are one of the oldest nations on the face of Africa since 1847. 172 years we have done nothing on Earth planet. It is a shame to a nation. What do we have to show to the world? Because we are so nothing but wicked people. And we continue to be cruel to one another. And nobody can speak on these things. And that's what I'm here to speak, nothing but the truth. If you are a critical voice, we come at night to kill you. Why we continue to harm our people? Why? When the people have all right to assemble and peacefully protest for their rights. Go all over the world. People protest because something is not right. Something seems not to be right in the country, so people stand up and protest. Why Liberia don't want protest? Why I reach a point where we don't want protest? Because we want to continue eating the gravy when the poor people are dying every day. We must put our act together and we must stop the corruption. I pray that God bless Liberia. We must learn from our mistakes. 14 years of civil war, and we still can't get it together. We still trying to steal from one another. Who are we on Earth planet? Bunch of crooks, bunch of corrupt people, continue to steal from our people. Is that all we do? Nothing else? We go in office. We don't seek the interest of the country. We only seek ourselves, and that's it. and we're getting rich every day, when our people are suffering, that is called injustice. It's called corruption. We will stand against corruption. The young generation is rising. Liberia is going to rise one day. God bless the great America. And God bless the country of my origin, Liberia. I will always be here to serve on behalf of the young generation. Thank you so much, and have a good night.